high school boys and girls are having a hop at the local soda fountain. Innocently, they dance. Innocent of a new and deadly menace lurking behind closed doors. Marijuana, the burning weed with its roots in hell. Debauchery, violence, murder, suicide, and the ultimate end of the marijuana addict. Hopeless insanity. See this important film now, before it is too late.
Well, I was talking to a friend of mine who's a police officer, and he says, I've yet to go to a domestic dispute where marijuana was involved. Alcohol and cocaine. He says, that's what creates domestic, right? Pot, you hang out, you love each other, and you chill.
Lucky?
I think it's cool.
Socially, it's growing in acceptance. I mean, I look at the numbers. I mean, I'm a baby boomer, and I would say 60% of all the people I know, my cohorts, smoke marijuana from twice a month to 25 times a month or more.
Who would poke me in the ribs and say, hey, buddy, well, you know, gardening, what do they do with the weeds? The weeds? They attack them. They kill them. Yeah. That's right. And what do they call marijuana? A weed. Yeah, buddy, keep that in mind.
The side effects of cannabis are you get relaxed, you maybe want to chill out on the couch at the end of the day, you're better natured, and you like food a lot. You know, people who are sitting there blowing their brains out by hitting the bong every day really hard and they just want to sit around and play Xbox, you're kind of wasting your life. Like life has a lot more to offer that, and I really think what marijuana's gift can be is that it can make life sweeter and more interesting and bring out the finer notes of it.
Very unlucky. If they need it for that purpose, then it's very unfortunate their health is so poor.
I believe people who use marijuana for medicinal purposes probably have a good reason for doing so.
Well, I think they should have a complete green light. I mean, I look at some of the people I've met in the last 5 years, cancer survivors, other just painful conditions where they claim they're getting relief from medicinal marijuana. The subject's over for me after that. Look how our family doctors mismanaged the scourge of oxycodone. That was a mainline prescribed drugs. Look at what it did to society. And they're just starting to unravel that pathology, right? And you don't see people in these kind of numbers going into rehab, in and out, like they're going into a convenience store. Over marijuana use.
It's the THC that's the killer. The rest of it might be fine, like smoking the peace pipe. And they were even smart enough to smoke it without THC.
But really, what's the big deal? If this is a medicine that's effective and used responsibly, why wouldn't it be part of a conversation? Just the same way somebody would say, you know what, I hurt my back, I found out that going to a chiropractor was helpful, or this Robaxacet helped me out, or this vitamin was good for me. It should be no different in our society.
It's difficult to watch this video of an Oregon child hurting himself in a fit of rage. 11-year-old Alex Eccles is severely autistic. His self-destructive behavior brought on by tuberous sclerosis, a genetic disorder that affects about 50,000 people in the U.S. It causes growths in organs, in Alex's case, primarily in the brain. Those growths can lead to seizures and autism. Alex can't communicate with words, making it difficult to understand what's troubling him.
Indescribable. It was horrifying. He was able to just be acting normal and all of a sudden just run himself to a wall.
His parents have turned to a controversial treatment, medical marijuana, to manage Alex's behavior.
When you've got no other options, are you honestly going to say no? He went from hitting himself, blooding his face. Within an hour, hour and a half, he would be playing with toys, using his hands, something that at that time was almost unheard of.
It's an extremely rare occurrence for Alex.
Alex's group home won't give him the marijuana, so about 3 times a week, his parents give him a liquid form of the drug. Oregon law does not require a doctor to monitor a child's medical marijuana use. In fact, Alex's neurologist at Dornbecker Children's Hospital didn't know about the alternative treatment until we told him.
It surprised you that they were trying something like
No,
this?
I don't think so at all. I certainly am very much with them in my desire to help Alex. All of us want to help Alex.
I don't actually know. I suspect it is different. My guess is, but it's purely a guess, that the medicinal marijuana is grown deliberately weaker than what you might find grown at home or in somebody's yard.
I imagine it to be much more potent and perhaps dangerous. It could contain other drugs.
They say that the legal, if it goes legal and it passes, the marijuana that will be sold will be grown with no THC.
Yeah.
It's like booze. It's the alcohol, not the sugar and water. It's the alcohol that makes you freak out and punch somebody in the bar and get thrown out.
It clearly is more powerful today. I mean, it just knocks me on my rear end if I'm not used to it. So there has been a change. I don't think it's like a street drug, for instance, like heroin, where it's cut with all kinds of nasty things. Although medicinal marijuana is going to be controlled by the government, so you're going to have, their hands in this thing, and that's always, as a citizen, you need to be very suspect whenever that does occur.
Ability to change strains and consistent quality. Because I've had some street stuff that is freaking awesome and well done, and clearly the person who did it loves what they do. And I've also had some people provide me with what I'd call horrible ditchweed covered in pesticide, which gave me horrid headaches and a bad experience. So I think if I was to say the biggest difference is the stuff you get on the street has this wide variability of what it can be, and your ability to choose strains is very limited oftentimes. Whereas when you're working with an LP, you're getting very standardized, high quality, and you can mix your strains properly. And that's, the street marijuana has been bred for high THC because that's what sells on the street. And for some people, that's exactly what they need. But for people, say, like you're saying, anxiety, or people who are maybe a little prone to paranoia, THC is probably going to create more problems than it's going to solve. And you get a high CBD strain. If you try and sell a high CBD strain on the street, the person's probably going to beat you up the next time they see you because they will not get a buzz from it. But the medical patient is going to say, wow, I can use this medicine during the day, not feel affected, but actually get benefit from it. I would just say my biggest pet peeve, which is shifting dramatically, is people, if they have a knee-jerk judgmental response over the use of it. Just because I know if you were educated and you knew what I knew, you may still decide that it's not for you, but you wouldn't be judgmental, you'd understand.
Den ganzen Tag zu führen ist schon heftig, ja? Wie ein Marathon, der niemals endet. Ja, nur meine Hyperaktivität lässt dann auch noch nicht mal zu, dass ich müde oder erschöpft werde. Ich verbrenne eigentlich nur die ganze Zeit Energie und kann keine Energie zu mir nehmen. Ja.
Der darin enthaltene Wirkstoff THC hilft ihm, ein normaler Mensch zu werden.
Ich habe mehrere Medikamente getestet, auch testen müssen, viele schlimme Medikamente, wo ich meinen Körper noch schlimmer nicht kontrollieren konnte. Das ist Spastiken, wo mein Kiefer nach da ging, mein Kopf nach da, mein Arm nach da, meine Beine nach da. Das hat so wehgetan, das war höllisch und hat sich 3-4 Tage gezogen. Cannabis.
I'd like to see it legalized, that we should be able to use it whenever we want. I'd like to see that there are good restrictions in place, like with drinking and driving. That's against the law, and I think that smoking and driving should be equally controlled. But otherwise, it's quite nice, so why not?
I hope marijuana does get legalized because I don't find it to be as dangerous as some people think.
Little things lead into big things. Marijuana led me into higher class drugs that do more damage faster and numb me out faster, where I can't get back up. I've fallen, but I can't get up.
I think they're actually moving forward in a very reasonable way. Like, I think there's a lot of good stuff going on. Something I would love to see is I would love to see it legal for any Canadian to be able to grow 2 or 3 plants if that's the way they want to use their medicine.
And I think Canadians need to do that a lot more. They're too comfortable. You got to get off the couch and get involved. We're losing interest in politics in a major way, and for rightful reasons, but you just got to turn it around and hold them accountable. Get to these town meetings, start shouting, get angry with them. You know, when you see outrageous stances and ideological positions that are so damaging to a progressive society.
Failing this, the next tragedy may be that of your daughter, or your son, or yours, or yours, or yours.